Hello everyone, I'm Donovan, and this is my friend.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Daniel.
And welcome to Double D's Endless Album Directory, where we will discuss and I guess break down, but most importantly rank every album we can get our hands on from the years 1950 to 2000, whenever. I'm not sure whenever we're going to end. But this is our first episode, and we'll start with, I guess, what have you been up to, Daniel?
Just trying to figure out the process of listening to these albums.
Yeah.
I'll listen to the album and then I'll write down notes in between, but then in the second half of the album, my mind might change on the album, so I'll have to kind of edit my notes and stuff. But
yeah,
so it's kind of like a learning process for this beginning part. But yeah,
it is pretty different because to be able to get through all of the albums, you kind of have to listen and be doing stuff at the same time, kind of. I guess.
And I don't know. It's just yeah.
I see what you're saying. I think I see what you're saying. I think we're both listening. I'm not sure. See, because how I listen to the albums is whenever I start the day, because I'm using Apple Music, and you have to. My phone recently stopped backing up, I guess, memory. So I'm pretty low on memory, so I can only download maybe 3 to 5 albums, and then I just kind of go out and I listen to them throughout the day. And then, but we're ranking all of the albums,
right?
But I'm only I kind of just write notes on the ones I like, and then I kind of just remember. I remember all the ones I listen to.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I don't have something good or specifically bad to say about all of them, so I'll just be all right, I'll just remember some few things about that one.
Yeah, some of them are just middle of the road.
Yeah. We've only listened to a few.
Yeah.
So
for 1950, there's only at the most there's 6 maybe.
Yeah, there's 6 albums.
But I'll be interested to see what year we end up on.
Yeah, honestly,
this could take years, so we might end up in I don't know, 2018, 2019.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too, because on the post on the website it said until now, 1950 until now, and I was thinking to myself, I'm yeah, it'll probably go past 2016 for sure.
Yeah,
and then probably it'll just lead into maybe us just reviewing the most current stuff, since we will probably have been through almost every.
Yeah, I'm just really excited to get through I don't know, the 50s. Going in, I just look forward to mostly the jazz stuff.
Yeah,
but I'll also be interested to hear I don't know, some Elvis and some of that stuff, because I've never really listened to the full. Yeah, I listened to some Elvis songs, but just the popular stuff. So I'll be interested to see if I'm into that type of stuff or not.
Yeah. Because I noticed when looking through the albums, it seems like this is the golden age of jazz, or not maybe the beginning, or no, just right in its, maybe just right in its prime. It seems because I know jazz comes from super far down in the timeline, and this 1950 is just kind of when I feel since we're only able to find so few actual albums, that this is when albums started to get popular, or just the purchasing of them and stuff, and when a lot of the pretty mainstream artists of pop music, popular pop music, came around, like Elvis, Frank Sinatra, and stuff like that.
Yeah, even you'll see in like 1950 this year that we're doing. It's like most of the albums are just like movie soundtracks.
Yeah.
And so you won't really see like artistically musical albums, like intentionally just
made to be music, like
just made to be albums.
Yeah.
Like made to tell a story through music. Instead, like most of the albums you might see in these early years are like they're meant to be like supplemental to the movies.
Yeah, they're kind of just meant to go along with it. Yeah, like we'll get into at least this year's like later. But yeah, it's a lot of soundtracks. Really not. There's people that are popular at this time, of course. Like I guess from like touring, like concerts and stuff that they were doing, but not a lot of just like, oh yeah, just Actually, I have no idea when the radio came about, but like, I doubt it was like you just turn on the radio and it's just like one specific or like a group of people.
Yeah, it was just like mostly pop songs. I guess on the radio, I don't know too much about the radio earlier, but what I imagine it is like news, sports, and like just different broadcast, like
oh yeah,
like you'll hear like the Superman show or that type of stuff,
or like that pulpy kind of storytelling that you hear like in the Fallout radio.
Yeah.
Like Argyle and his companion, like Captain Atom or some bullshit like that. I don't even know.
Yeah, but I'm really excited to get into the 50s, just to see what would interest me from that decade. What about you?
Nice. Yeah, much of the same actually. But I've actually like I didn't really listen to music too much before this year. And when I say before this year, I mean honestly like 3 months ago, almost, because that's when I got the Apple Music app.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, oh shit, this is beast.
Yeah,
and I just
that's just kind of like what this project is meant for. Like because both you and I are kind of newer into like getting into hardcore into music. So like we want to go back into like history and listen to all the classics, or what people consider the classics, and kind of learn the history kind of music. So and taking notes on the album, like if you take the notes on the albums that you think are notable throughout history, then I think that's a good way to like learn about music and stuff like that.
Yeah. And one of the main things is because we live in like a kind of age where, of course, like we could have things like without any effort like involved. Like we could just, the fact that we have things like Spotify and Apple Music is kind of something that's new to like, like our generation of people. And one thing I usually like kind of feel like I envy about the last generation of people, like the people who didn't grow up with the internet, was how they would have this like, not a tradition, but just like it was just the normal to wait for a release of something like a movie or an album, and then they would get it, and then they would just like be obsessed with it. If they loved it, they would be obsessing over it, listening to the album like hundreds of times. And I do like that feeling, because I've had some of those types of things happen to me like in my lifetime, even though I'm younger, and that's not really my time. But I want to like embrace the fact that we live in a time when we can, like this is probably, of course, the best time to be into anything, because you can have it all like instantly. So that's both of our reasons for wanting to do it, because we can, and it's awesome.
So, did you want to get right into it, or?
Yeah, let's just you know what? Let's just kick the door right in right now. Let's just go in. All right. So you wanna go into like the order that you listen to them in, or?
Yeah. So, I guess we forgot to mention on this podcast that basically we're going off like the Wikipedia list. So
yes, exactly.
Like that year in music on Wikipedia, you'll see like albums, and that's kind of the order that I listen to the albums in. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
But I kind of listen to them in that order, so it's kind of like in alphabetical order.
Yeah, in the list that we're talking about, it's basically if you type in on Wikipedia, like you type in a year and then you put in music, like 1950 in music. You go to the page and there'll be an albums released section. Like don't type in specifically albums released in 1950. You got to type in 1950 in music and then albums released. And we went through that list, found what we could listen to, like through Spotify, Apple Music, and maybe YouTube. Daniel, I think you use YouTube. I didn't.
Yeah. So I use Spotify and I use YouTube. Okay. I try to use Spotify as like the primary, but if it's not on Spotify and it's on YouTube, like the whole album together, then I'll listen to it on YouTube. In this case, I think there was only one out of the like 5 or 6 albums I listened to that was on YouTube. So
okay.
Yeah, since you don't use YouTube, I think you might not have listened to it. But
I kind of because I listen to most of the music when I'm like out like doing stuff. So I just I was like, for YouTube, I have to basically be at somewhere and like I'm using data and stuff. Mm-hmm. But with Apple Music, I just download it, go on about my business. All right. So 1950s, years we'll be starting in, and was the first one that you found or did you listen to Autumn in New York by Joe Stafford?
You want to go ahead and say your thoughts on Autumn in New York first?
On Autumn in New York, yeah, we'll start there. Yeah. Autumn in New York actually I like this album a lot actually. For the list, it's like it's not that many lists to choose from in 1950, but I thought it was actually really nice, and it kind of just immediately when the song comes, like the first song, Autumn in New York, comes on, I just kind of automatically thought of just like that kind of singing, like 1950s, like, you know, probably when she would be on live tours, it's just her and the mic in front of her, and she just sings it, you know, type of stuff. And not much movement, probably. Like, I don't think they were doing like crazy dance moves or anything. And she has a nice voice, I thought. And surprisingly, you can't find a lot of her stuff on Apple and Spotify. The more we went through, but yeah, this was one of the first ones that we found, and you know, I liked it a lot. I liked one specific song I liked was the Georgia on My Mind, which it was cool to see the original version of that song, because the most, like, when I think of that song, it's the cover by Ray Charles. Like, Georgia on my mind, Georgia on my mind. Okay, I'm done. Yeah, it's good. It's good stuff. Overall, yeah, I liked the album. I liked it. Yeah. What about you?
So, I thought it was alright. It was like, so the first thing that, like, I looked the album up right before I started to listen to it, and it was classified as, and a lot of these albums they're classified as traditional pop music. Yeah, and I thought that was really interesting because, like, back then, I guess pop music was considered more like, more literal of the term, like popular music. So it's not really like poppy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
It's more like original orchestration, that type of thing.
Yeah,
And
original.
So that was a popular style of music in America back then.
Yeah.
So that's like the first thing that like caught my eye. I was like, oh, traditional pop music. That's interesting. But
traditional pop.
Yeah, I don't know. It's something that would come out of like an old timey movie, kind of like kind of like an old school soundtrack. Even though I don't even know if it was actually, but that's kind of what it felt like to me. It had like decent production value. It sounded like it aged pretty okay. The audio quality was pretty decent. Compared to today's standards, that is, it's probably
how it's recorded is kind of
yeah. But other albums that we'll get to later on had better production values, so even for today's standards. So yeah, it was like decent. She does have a good voice. The instrumentals were pretty basic for me, but her voice does add a bit to it. The one song that I really liked from the album was probably Haunted Heart. I don't know. It was like Haunted Heart, which is kind of like, I don't know. It was more emotional and unique than the other ones. For me, that is. The other ones, I've never heard like the Ray Charles of that other song, the remaster or whatever. So I didn't recognize it. The other ones just sounded kind of like in tune to what that album is. Yeah. And Haunted Heart was kind of like stood out to me, so I really like that song.
All right. So overall, for this album, you thought it was like mostly just pretty good, right?
I thought it was okay. It wasn't good. It wasn't bad. It was just like fine.
It was like, and it's like the first one, so you're kind of like, how do you judge the first one that you listen to? So
yeah. Oh, and I guess we should say, we forgot to say in the beginning, but we're going to be doing like a list of, like, the main purpose of this podcast is to rank all of these albums on a list of like best to worst.
Yes, exactly.
So like,
oh wow, we didn't even say that.
Yeah, no, we didn't mention it.
It's gonna be. We want to make a giant list of all of these albums that we're gonna listen to through the years, and I guess, at the end of each year, we're probably gonna, rank in the podcast the best album from that year. But then we're gonna add everything's gonna be on one giant list, though.
Right. And and after we talk about each album, we'll like determine where it goes. And since this is the first album, it'll just be number one, I guess, for right now. And then we'll just continue going. Like every time we talk about it, we'll kind of is it better than this album, stuff like that.
Yeah, but it will just be like I guess the ones we don't like would take it like probably an immediate backseat on like the bottom. Yeah. And the ones that we like we'll try to carefully drop them into place, where they belong.
Yeah. All right. So Autumn in New York. It's pretty decent to me. What'd you think? What'd you think overall about it?
What I think overall of it is I wouldn't rank it. We'll probably rank all these ones from this year at the end, or something like that. I'm not sure, but I don't think needs to be number one. What?
We'll rank them after we talk about them.
Okay.
So we'll rank this one right now, even though there's none on there, and we'll do that with every one of them.
Okay. Yeah. It's on the list that it's like in the middle. It's just a fine set of songs.
It's not like anything special or anything like that.
Yeah, it's not hugely. I wouldn't say it's like hugely like important to having it high, but it's not bad, so it won't be at the bottom probably.
Yeah. So for now, Autumn in New York is the only song on the list.
Yes, the only song. So that's fun.
Yeah.
What was the next album that you listened to?
So the next album I listened to was the famous 1938 Carnegie Hall Jazz Concert by Benny Goodman.
Benny Goodman, eh?
Yeah.
This one actually, and I didn't even know it because I had listened to it, and then a couple days later, there was like some slight confusion with, I guess there's the famous 1938 Carnegie Hall Jazz Concert, Benny Goodman.
Yeah.
And then there's also Live at Carnegie Hall by Benny Goodman. And released in the same year.
Yeah, they're both the same event, which apparently I read up on, and it was like it's literally a famous jazz concert that kind of popularized jazz music to like wider audiences in 1938 in Carnegie Hall, obviously. And like apparently it was like such a like a legendary concert kind of. And so there's Benny Goodman's version that like in the Live at Carnegie Hall album that you listen to. He kind of says that he like his daughter found it in his closet or whatever, and then he kind of submitted it to publish. And then there's a different recording of the same concert, and that's the one I listened to, called the famous jazz concert. And so they're two different albums, but it's kind of the same one. So I say, we should probably just
it really doesn't matter which one, or
I mean, the sound quality is different for each of them. I wouldn't say one's worse than the other. They're just kind of like unique.
Okay.
But I'd say it's like the same song, same performance. I'd say rank them in the same spot.
Okay.
All right.
So, but they do have the same tracks, right? Correct?
Yeah. It's the same exact tracks, except the one you listen to had the monologue.
Except the ones where he talks, you say?
Yeah, the ones where he like does like monologues or whatever. I didn't hear that. I didn't mind.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually going off that. The one thing that would have made the album even better was because on the track that I listened to, he has his monologue on the first song. And then it plays just like basically everything in order. And then it's a 2-hour album, because then after he plays all of his songs, then it has like the interludes between each song that he said, like he'll say like, and what you just heard was, like swinging in, what is this song called? Swinging in whatever, or something like that. And he'll say that, but they were all at the end. So it was just like, you just listen to this. And then the next track is like, it's like a 20-second thing. Like, and you just listen to this and blah, blah, blah. Like, I was like, God, if they were just in the middle, like that would have been super awesome.
Oh, like you want like, what do you mean if they were in the middle?
Like after Avalon, the actual song, I wish his little, mini so 20-second thing where he says,
after the song, you want him to talk about the song and then the next song comes?
Yeah, I wanted it to be like that. I didn't even know it existed until I got to the end where, it had them all together. But yeah, I really like this album, actually. I thought it was a good intro to jazz at the time, even though it's actually 12 years ago. If we're pretending we're in 1950 right now, it was like, recorded a while ago.
It was recorded a while ago,
yeah, and but I felt like the people that he collaborated with, were good. Mainly one of my favorites was I think it was the singer. She's like a singer in the album. Her name is Martha Tilton. I had to look it up, but she speaks French, or she sings French in some of the songs. Do you remember? She's like,
I don't actually. I don't remember.
Oh, okay. Only in like 2 songs. I remember.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she sings, and then there's this one part where she sings, and then everybody applauds after, and then Benny Goodman's like, "Oh, we're not prepared for an encore, but she'll be back later," or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I thought she was really good. She was a really good singer. Who actually I liked more than Joe Stafford's like whole album. Honestly, like her.
Oh, really?
Her 2 songs. But it was such a small amount that can I really say like she's better? But right, I liked her more. But yeah, overall, I thought this album was good. Probably, I'll say right now, probably my favorite of this year. Actually, since we're going in order of.
So out of the 2, it's your favorite?
Yeah, out of these 2, it's my favorite so far.
Okay.
What about you?
So it's a live album, right? So it isn't in the best quality.
No, it's not.
But it's definitely got a lot going on musically. Like, you could hear that all the musicians are like really talented. It's a bit too long for me. Like,
it was long. 2 hours.
I had a hard time getting through it, even though I enjoyed a lot of the tracks. Like, one of the tracks I really enjoyed was Shine. It's just like, it's really short, but it's like 50 seconds long. But it's like I was like already struggling to get through by the time I got to Shine. And then like, it was just kind of like a nice burst of energy kind of. And I was like, oh yeah, I'm feeling this album. And then Jam Session is probably like my favorite song on this album, because at first it kind of sounds like a generic jazz song, but it's just like it just keeps chugging. Like, it keeps with the same beat, and I think it's like 12 minutes long, and then like clarinets will come in and do their solo, and then drums will do their solo, trumpets will do their solo, and like it just starts to feel like the longer and longer it goes, and the more the beat stays on track while other instruments come along, it just starts to feel like really exciting to me. And The Man I Love is another song I love. I think on other records in 1950, you'll see like this same song, The Man I Love. It's like a popular song. I don't know where it was popularized. Maybe it was popularized here. But it's like a really... it's like a song about heartbreak, kind of. Like, that's what it feels like to me. And like a song about happier times. It kind of feels nostalgic. It's a little better. Like, the album itself is a little better than decent to me, only because it's very long, and I didn't like all of the songs. The production quality is not as good as Autumn in New York, but I definitely enjoyed it a lot more, and it was musically a lot more interesting. So I definitely liked it a lot more than that album, even though it was like a live album from like a long time ago. So overall I liked it, but it was kind of hampered by its length to me. But so I would definitely rank it over Autumn in New York. What about you?
I think it was really a pretty good put together. But how you were saying about the length, I do think that we don't have like, I think me and you, I think it's not that we don't like long albums. Mm-hmm. I think it was just that a lot of the tracks were similar, right?
Yeah.
Like,
it's like you'll come across like one or two songs that you really like, and then there'll be a string of songs that are good, but they're very similar. And you're just like, all right, when will I come across the next like great song? And so it kind of felt like a marathon to get through.
Yeah, it's not like it's like a collection of just like, you know, the best songs. It's like all of them. Mm-hmm. And stuff like that. I'm not sure if this works anything like how normal like concerts today work, but I think like when you're at a concert, they don't really play like just that album that was just released that made this concert happen, but they'll play those, like some of those, but they'll also play like other stuff. So I was like thinking that maybe he was just trying to like, you know, put on a show for the people that were there and make it really long. And that's maybe something to do with like why I'm just sitting here and I'm just like, oh, that song was so beast. And then like I'm there like 20 minutes later, because some of the songs are like 10 minutes, 14 minutes long.
Right.
Or yeah, and then the next few, and then I'm just like, ooh, another jammer, bingo, and then kind of just like
another jammer, so swell.
Yes, dude, so swell, sounds so soulful, and then I'm just but yeah, overall, yeah, out of the two, I would say, I think I would put it ahead of Autumn in New York. What about you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would definitely put it over Autumn in New York. So
all right,
now we have a 1 and 2.
1 and 2.
Yeah.
All right. So what was the next one that you listened to?
So the next one I listened to, this is the one I don't think you listened to because it's on YouTube. But funnily enough, even though like Spotify and Apple Music have like better audio quality, this is the album that probably had the best production value in 1950.
Wow.
Yeah, that I've listened to. It's Swing and Dance by Frank Sinatra, or with Frank Sinatra by Frank Sinatra. Yeah.
You found a Frank Sinatra album on YouTube?
Yeah. And so, okay. And so, did you listen to this one?
No, I didn't.
Okay. So, like I said, the production value in this is just like, it's just like miles ahead of the other ones. It feels like it's like a decade later. You're just like, wow, it's crazy.
Maybe that has a lot to do with the fact that I think at this point Frank Sinatra was already a big deal.
Yeah, he definitely. This is like his 6th studio album, I think.
Oh, okay.
And so Sinatra's voice is like, it's just amazing. It's really great. This is my first. This is my first Sinatra album listening like fully through. I've gone and listened to like half albums. You know what I mean? Like I went through half of his albums, and like I went to an album and then listened to half of it and stuff like that. So this is my first full listen through.
Oh, okay.
And so the thing I noticed about his voice is he has like these unique vocal quirks. That's like in the song "It's Only a Paper Moon." He just kind of like, I don't know, like he'll just like do like random things with his voice, and it's really like cool. When he's singing, his lyrics come across super clear, and like the instruments are like super smooth. You could tell it's like he wanted his voice and the instruments to like both be like smooth.
Okay. That's one thing that really gets my attention, is if the like for any song, when I could clearly understand like what they're saying, regardless of how they're singing it, then yeah, that's a plus.
Yeah, and the lyrics themselves are like, I don't know, they're very like 1950-ish kind of basic. There is some meaning to them, but they're like, I don't know, the lyrics aren't the greatest lyrics. Frank Sinatra's probably not known for his lyrics. He's more known for his voice. But yeah, one of the songs that shows off its smoothness is "It All Depends on You." Both the lyrics and the instruments on that song are they're wow, it's really super just smooth. I don't know another word to use besides that one. So, yeah, it just remains smooth throughout. I'm not as big a fan of the second half of the album as I am of the first half.
Okay.
But luckily, the album is short enough to where it doesn't become an issue. The songs are fine enough in the second half, but they don't pop out to me in the same way as the first half songs do. So, I halfway through, I thought this was going to be my favorite album of the year, and then I listened to the second half, and I was like, oh, it's not as good as the first half. So overall, I'd give it it's kind of the same as the.
Dude, don't say a number. Don't say a number, dude.
No. I'm not gonna rank it from 1 to 10 or something like that. Yeah, overall, I'd give it around the same kind of recommendation or score as the Jazz Concert album, because I really enjoyed it, but it had its downfalls. So I probably rank it right with that, or right under. I probably rank it right under because it's not as musically interesting.
You'd rank it right next to Benny Goodman, or
right under?
Okay.
Because it's not as musically interesting as the Benny Goodman album, but it's definitely better than the Joe Stafford album.
Okay. I thought you were gonna put it right at the top, and I kind of would have just been okay with that since it's Frank Sinatra. Yeah, since it's Frank Sinatra, and I feel like I already know that I like him. He's cool.
Yeah. If that second half was anything like in the first half, then it probably would have been number one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
But yeah.
All right, so we have 3 albums on the list.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's the next album you listen to?
The next album that I heard from was the I think I listened to Porgy and Bess.
Porgy and Bess?
Yeah, the soundtrack.
Yeah, I didn't listen to that one.
Oh, you haven't listened to it?
No, it wasn't on Spotify or YouTube.
Okay. This one was also a tricky one because this is I guess a play. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people throughout the years have redone this play, so there's plenty of remakes with a variety of famous people doing it. But this one, I'm not even sure who did it. I think it just said original cast 1950, and it was I really the only way for me to get through that album was just kind of just I wanted to just take it as it was. I mean, I wanted to take it for what they were actually maybe this relates to the play, because this quality of it was just, I couldn't understand almost any lyrics at all, because sometimes they sounded far away, and then sometimes it's just it was that kind of old, when you're listening to something dated, there's just kind of that fuzz in the noise just a little bit. Mm-hmm. And I just couldn't hear much, but it was kind of opera-ish, like an opera kind of thing, and it felt more like a soundtrack, like we were talking about, instead of an album. And yeah, it was just, I didn't think that it held any I don't want to be speechless, but it didn't have any of what I thought made something seem really good, like an album should, which probably it was a play. Yeah. And while you're listening to it, you can kind of hear what the story's about, which is a couple. I think it was a couple, Porgy and Bess, and there's a lot of songs that are about Bess leaving, or Where's My Best and stuff like that, who I assume is the lady. And, it was, I wouldn't rank it actually very highly, just based off my listen to it. And I went back a couple times and listened to like some tracks again to maybe I could like understand some things, but the quality of it was just kind of a huge wall for me to like leap over to like it that much. And the lyrics were very simple too. Again 1950 just kind of, complaints like these lyrics wouldn't carry over and stuff like that, but not that they have to. I just didn't think it was anything noteworthy.
Oh, okay. So where would you rank it?
I would put it at the bottom.
At the bottom? Okay.
Yes.
So it's number 4 right now?
Yes.
Alright.
And what was the next thing on your list?
The next thing on my list was Voice of Extabe by Yima Sumak. I think that's the closest I think you would pronounce it.
Yeah, I think so.
So, okay. This album is my favorite album from this year. By a mile.
Interesting.
By a football field's mile.
All right, actually,
I'm
not even going to say interesting. I'm not even going to say interesting because I feel like I saw this coming, actually. I thought you would say this, yeah.
Yeah. So, okay. So Sumak's voice is it's very... The closest I could think of describing it, it's like dark chocolate, kind of.
Dark chocolate?
Yeah. It's like...
So, okay.
It's like, it can be sweet, or it's bitter, harsh, kind of like a smoky taste, kind of.
Yeah.
She can make her vocals sound as if they were like whistles, and then she could make a rougher sound, kind of like it's coming out of a synthesizer.
Yeah.
You can hear
sound effects.
Yeah, it almost sounds kind of like instruments, but it's just her voice.
Yeah.
And it's not like she's putting it anything through anything. That's just her voice, and you can hear the whistle type voice she puts out in Voice of the Sun God. And then which I like that song a lot. And then the harshness, she could do this kind of like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's in the songs Earthquake and The Forest Creatures. Those are two songs that I think give good examples of that type of voice. The instrumentals sound like they were kind of built for a movie or a modern video game soundtrack. But I mean that in the best ways. It's the tracks the instrumentals kind of work to bring emotion rather than just one certain genre or tone. A track can be a tragedy, in the song Cry.
It had a tragic feel to it.
Yeah. In the song Cry, it was man, you could feel it. And then but then in another song it can feel like a Western movie. And it's just it just feels so westerny, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's in the song Dance of the Moon Festival. That song totally feels like it's straight out of I don't know, John Wayne movie. I don't know who Western actors are. Clint Eastwood. You can tell that she has fun in just making random noises sometimes. And it's super infectious when she's having fun. And you're just man, I wasn't feeling the song until she started feeling it. And then she started exhibiting that feeling. So it's just really infectious.
Yeah.
It's just it's just like a really beautiful album to me. Like the genre changes, the vocal range, the pacing. It was just like a good length. I thought it was like everything was like pretty much like perfect in the album to me. And so that's pretty much what
that's
I think.
That's good to hear, actually. Yeah. What did you think? What did you think?
Alright, you can go ahead and shit on it now, dude. It's
what?
Okay. I said you can go ahead and shit on it, Dad. It's okay, I get it.
What are you talking about, dude?
No, I'm just messing. What were you asking me?
No, it was like, I thought it was like a slow kind of like getting used to, actually, but because I wasn't expecting something like that in like the 50s. I didn't even.
Yeah.
I was honestly surprised when I saw that on the list. Like, oh, this is actually listed, and I'm not sure where she's from, but it definitely doesn't sound like she's from America, of course.
No, she's from Peru, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the weird thing about my listen to it, it was a little different, because I'm not sure if this happened to you, but on Apple Music, I think the album has like 18 songs on it, but when I downloaded it, and on Apple Music, you can only listen to the first 10 songs. Like, really? For some reason, the rest of it is just cut in half. Like, it's just a half of an album.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you only listened to like the first 10 songs?
Yeah, the first 10 songs, which was 33 minutes long, and I was I was at school, and I was like what the fuck just happened? Like, it's only 10 songs, and I listened to it, and I could feel that, like, it was just like, it was kind of like an opera. Like, it's like going through all these emotions in this in the story, and then it just gets cut off. I'm like, I feel like this should be longer, and then I got home. Like, I got home, and there was like 8 songs that didn't download, and I was like, well, son of a bitch. But yeah, I liked her voice. I think she was speaking Latin, right?
I don't. Is Peruvian? I don't even know what language they speak in Peru.
Yeah, I'm not sure either, but I could have sworn somewhere I saw that it was Latin, and I was like, that's crazy. But yeah, it was a good. She definitely has a good voice.
Yeah,
she can really like put together a story with like all the aspects of her voice, like her sound effects, and then actually saying words, and then the instruments. I'm not sure what I was hearing from the instruments, actually.
Yeah, it was like very tribal / orchestrated. It was really interesting.
Yeah. But yeah, I actually think this album deserves a pretty high spot. It was your favorite, and I had no problems with it. I thought it was good.
Did you end up listening to the rest of it?
No, I actually wasn't sure where to find it.
Oh, okay. It's on Spotify.
It is?
Yeah.
Oh, but Spotify, they don't let me listen to it in order. Oh, I can listen from my... I think if I listen from my PlayStation, it'll let me listen in order. Just not my phone.
Right.
I'll listen to it.
Okay, so
where I would put it...
Okay, go ahead.
I would put it... it has to be next to Benny Goodman, if not on top of it.
I would put it above Benny Goodman. This is the one. This is the album I'll stake my reputation for, whatever that means.
Your fucking reputation.
This is the one I'll go out on. This is the one I'll go out on a limb for.
All right, your 40 minutes of reputation culminates in Yima taking the number 1 spot of 1950. All right. Did you? Okay. All right. For now, I guess. Actually, I think I listened to one more album.
Yeah. For now.
Yeah. Was it Doris Day and The Man with the Horn? I think.
Yeah, Young Man with the Horn by Doris Day and Harry James.
Okay. Yeah. This one. Actually, I messed up earlier. I listened to Porgy and Bess, like, I think actually last out of all my listens, and this is the one that I listened to. Doris Day I listened to right after Benny Goodman, and so I was kind of like, I was just, listening, and then I heard Doris Day. It sounded, she had like, actually, I think she had, out of like, I guess four, oh no, you listen to Frank Sinatra, but like, the four singers that I listened to, I thought she was like the least entertaining, to be honest. I didn't, it sounded less like, I don't know, it had more like of a feel of like something that would be, it was like happy, which is nothing wrong with being happy, but it was just kind of more too lighthearted, I guess. And I think that some of the lyrics were like, of course, about like love and like the man she loves, and a lot of the stuff is like that. But I just got more of like a I Love Lucy vibe out of it than like just like straight up 1950s. And I was thinking after the Benny Goodman album that I listened to, I was like after I finished Doris Day, I was like, I like Martha Tilton better than this. And then I was like, oh, but I actually also like Joe Stafford's album better too.
Yeah.
And this one is also a soundtrack.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's a soundtrack. It's Young Man with a Horn is a movie, I think. Young Man with a Horn. Let me do some quick look up. Yeah, it's a soundtrack. Yes.
Yeah, like most of the albums are from this time period.
So, what'd you think of it?
So I definitely think Autumn in New York is better. This album has, just like Autumn in New York, has decent production value. The singing by Doris Day is like pretty average. I think Joe Stafford is just a bit better.
Yeah.
I kind of like, I don't know why I don't remember, what's her name? Mary?
Oh, Martha Tilton?
Martha Tilton. Yeah. I think I might have just like, forgotten the tracks.
Yeah.
Because the album's so long. But
yeah, the album is a journey, dude.
Yeah. So I might have to you might have to give me those tracks so I can go back and listen to them after this. But like Doris Day, her singing's just like pretty average.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to make I don't
I'm not sure how old she was when this came out, actually.
Yeah, I don't want to make too harsh judgments because this is only one album I've heard from her so far. But it seems like she's more like of an actress turned singer.
Oh yeah, I see what you're saying.
So that might be why. Like, if that's the case, then she's doing good. But it's just not like up to par with the other singers from this year.
Yeah.
Especially Yuma Samak, who I think, like, to me has the best voice. Like this year, she has like the most range and all that.
But and I guess a lot of what we consider just like, now that I think about it, the two singers that I think that are the best from this year, when I think of range, I think of the fact that they both sang in two different languages, or they both sang in different languages that weren't English.
Oh yeah.
I think also could add to like how good I thought they were in comparison.
That's interesting. Like English back then was kind of holding, like people were trying to sound too clear, like Frank Sinatra.
Yeah.
Rather than, I don't know. Maybe it's just the culture.
It says she was born in either 1922 or 1924. So she was like 20, 25 when this came out. Doris Day.
Oh, Doris Day. Okay. How old was she? 25?
Yeah, like 26. I don't know why it says that she was either born in 1922 or 1924, which is weird.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have a real date. So, yeah, she was probably young. I think she was an actress because it was a soundtrack for a movie that she was in, I think.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah, this album, I think the best part of this album is by it's like it shines with the trumpeter sections by Harry James. He's like really loud and really clear, and his trumpeting just sounds really good. It's like every time in songs when the trumpet kind of fades into the background to support Doris Day's singing, I'm just kind of like, just bring the trumpet back.
Yeah, you just wanted to turn into a jazz album?
Yeah, because like he's really good, and he doesn't get enough time in this album to shine. But the time he does get, it's like really good, and it kind of elevates this album above like where it probably would be without him. The first half is like, I like a lot of the albums from this year. The first half's probably more memorable than the second half because it gets a little long in the tooth to me. It's like it gets kind of boring towards the end, just like listening to super similar tracks. And so, yeah, I wasn't a big fan of this album. I actually think it's kind of bad.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd go to say it's below decent.
Wait a second. Did you? I'm sorry. Did you say anything about Porgy and Bess? Did you listen to that?
No, I didn't listen to it.
Oh yeah, you couldn't. Yeah. Okay. Just wondering.
I would rank it like by Porgy and Bess, but I haven't heard Porgy and Bess, so I'll leave that up to you. Which one goes lower?
Oh no, I definitely think that Porgy and Bess right now has got to be the least goodest album.
Quote unquote album.
Yeah, quote unquote album. It's like come on, like this isn't. It's not even an album. But.
Yeah. So okay. So to cap it off, so Young Man with the Horn goes above Porgy and Bess.
Right? Young Man with the Horn, yes, is above Porgy and Bess.
Okay. Is it what's right above Porgy and Bess?
Right above Porgy and Bess is isn't it
Autumn in New York?
Autumn in New York.
Yeah. So it's definitely not, like we said, it's probably not as good as Autumn in New York. So
no, it's not.
So it goes in between those two?
Yeah, between Autumn in New York and Porgy and Bess.
Okay. And so to cap it off, we have at the bottom Porgy and Bess. And how many do we have on the list so far?
I think 6, including your Frank Sinatra one.
Yeah. Okay, so number 6 is Porgy and Bess. 5, Young Man with the Horn. 4 would be Autumn in New York.
Yes.
3 would be the Frank Sinatra album, Swing and Dance with Frank Sinatra. Number 2 would be the Carnegie Hall Jazz Concert. And then number 1 is Voice of Extubate.
Yes.
And that's our list so far from listening in 1950.
Yeah. So I think so it's a pretty short list so far. Yeah. But
and these first few podcasts / years are going to be like shorter, but the more we go on, the way longer it'll be.
Yeah, I think even the next year is actually even shorter, 1951.
Yeah. So what do you think of the year overall?
Overall, like honestly, I have to say like that we really didn't get too much of it. Mm-hmm. Like I'm not sure if it's just because albums weren't really like a thing, like creating songs that you want to be put in a specific order and play like that. Like I think this was kind of just like they're just started to like release these, and then they still have like these soundtracks and stuff that are still like on the list of albums released when they're really just, you know. But overall, I thought it was fine. It introduced me to some old school type singing that I really don't hear a lot anymore. Well, if that was considered pop back then, we definitely don't have much pop like that on like most radio channels, I think.
Right.
But yeah, I thought it was a decent year. Decent.
Yeah. I thought it was kind of, from what we got, it was decent.
Yeah.
There was some good, like, I'm glad I listened to Voice of X today. I'm glad I listened to the Frank Sinatra album and the jazz concert album, the top 3.
Yeah. The top 3.
You know, they weren't like super enjoyable listens besides Voice of X today for me, but like I think those are kind of important to listen to. So yeah, I'm glad we did this year, even though it was super short. We did have like those soundtrack albums, Young Man with the Horn, Autumn in New York, stuff like that.
Is Autumn in New York a movie too? There's a soundtrack?
I think it is. I'm not totally sure.
Oh, okay. I thought it was an album.
Porgy and Bess and Young Man with the Horn. Like,
yeah.
I think you'll see a trend in the later years with the soundtracks. You know, the early soundtracks being kind of lower on the list.
Yeah.
Only because
the fact that those soundtracks consisted of almost half of our list is like kind of goes to show how popular albums were back then, I think.
Yeah. So yeah, pretty decent year. Like I'd say like half and half. 3 out of 6 is, you know, not too bad. So yeah, that's 1950.
All right, so I think it's safe to close this one up. What do you think?
Yeah.
All right. Well, I just want to, for anybody still listening up to this point, that you're listening to Double D's Endless Album Directory, where we discuss, but most importantly, rank every album that we could get our hands on from the years 1950 to whenever we conclude, whenever we catch up to the current date. And it's been fun talking with you guys. Any last words, Daniel?
No. Thursday sucks.
Nope.
See you later.
Nope. Yep. See ya.